And we welcome you once again to the 3C2A Men's and Women's Soccer Championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com, here from American River College. And we will start today with the Men's Championship, a matchup between Fresno City and Taft College, two teams that know each other very well, having played twice this season, both games ending in scoreless ties. So the third time here, well, one thing we can say for sure, it won't be a tie. And at least in terms, we will resolve a winner of this one and a champion in the matchup. And so far between these two teams, one thing can be said for sure, and that is nothing has been resolved. Taft comes in after advancing in penalty kicks over Cerritos, the top-ranked team in the power rankings coming in here, so a mild upset of sorts, if you can call a victory in the Final Four for a state championship an upset. But Taft nonetheless comes from 1-0 down to tie it up and then takes it in penalty kicks. Fresno City survives Mount San Antonio College after jumping to a 2-0 lead. Fresno City gave up a goal in the second half, and then there was an opportunity in extra time for Mount San Antonio College to perhaps tie it up, but the shot goes off the crossbar, and Fresno City emerges with the 2-1 victory, and they advance here to the final. Fresno City comes in with a record of 17-1-6 on the season. Taft 17-4-4, and of course the story for Fresno City has been a steady domination all year long, near the top of the rankings here in the 3C2A all year. Taft, meanwhile, got off to a bit of a slow start at 4-4-1, and since then they are 13-0-3. So this one sets up as one team coming in trying to complete a dream season and emerge with a championship in Fresno City, and another team in Taft that maybe has to start to feel a little bit like a Cinderella story here, and maybe a team of destiny. After a mixed results kind of start, they have really gelled as a team and come in here perhaps an entirely different team than they were to start the season. 90 minutes or more will determine it here, and we are getting set to get going, I should say. Just a quick sort of rundown of the teams. The one thing to keep in mind is both teams are led by electric leading scorers. Johnny Rodriguez led the 3C2A, or led Fresno, at least with 24 goals on the season. He is far and away the primary threat offensively for Fresno City. Meanwhile, for Taft, it's a similar dynamic with Hugo Magana, number 17 for Taft, who scored the goal against Cerritos College to tie that one up in the second half. And Magana comes in with 17 goals. Going to step aside very quickly here, and we'll rejoin you. We'll keep it on the picture here, and we are underway, Fresno and Taft, for the men's championship. And we bring you back, and we're underway with Fresno City in the dark jerseys, working it from left to right here in the first half. And Taft in the white, working it from right to left. Just underway here in the first minute, and a possible chance developing for Taft, but it's broken up. And Fresno City will work back the other way. And we want to bring in Sierra head coach Jason Gant, who will be joining us with commentary today. And Jason, so happy to have you here, and started to introduce this matchup. And I guess the first question here is two teams that have played twice during the season, so obviously not going to be a lot of secrets here between these teams. And how might that impact how this game will go and how it will start in particular?
No, I know, and both games ended in ties, both at their own places. And I think talking to head coach Eric last night, he said that each team kind of had the better of play at their different locations, so it should be pretty exciting.
Fresno with their first offensive push, and we have our first whistle, and there was a call there. And is this going to be a free kick? And indeed, Fresno City will have the free kick. All right, so we'll have a free kick, and it is going to be a little difficult, in the spirit of full disclosure here, to identify some of the Fresno players with the glare here and their jerseys. We'll have a little difficulty picking out some of the numbers, so we'll do our best. Meanwhile, the free kick is angled on goal. Garcia gets to stop, and it's sent away. Not out, and now entirely out, but the first real opportunity off the free kick for Fresno City. Morales, meanwhile, will send it back, and Fresno City will set up once again. Out to Santos. Now the Rams will start to regroup. Big chance here in the 3rd minute for the Rams as they work on the far side. Well, I talked a little bit, Jason, about Rodriguez, the leading scorer, and Hugo Magana, the leading scorer for Taft, both far and away the primary offensive threats for these two teams. Talk a little bit about what's going to be the challenge when you're talking about one particularly electric player that you're working against.
Yeah, I think they're going to be double teaming Rodriguez. Rodriguez was an All-American as a freshman. He's at 24 goals on the season. Looks like they got 2 players kind of tight on him right now, and they held him to no goals in 2 contests early on. So that's going to be a...
This is Rodriguez closing in defensively as Taft has it back. Tor on the near side. Tries to pinch it back, and this one's intercepted in a possible rush. Deflected outside the box, the shot from out front, and Garcia. A lunging stop. So Garcia's already been challenged a couple of times. And Garcia came up big on a couple of occasions to keep Taft in it against Cerritos after Taft fell behind 1-0 early in the semifinal matchup. Long kick, and it's sent back. And back to Morales here on the near side. Aguilera starts a move, sends it outside. Rams so far in the very early going seem to be on top in terms of the possession, and they've generated the chances so far. Rams doing anything particularly well here offensively to generate those chances that you're seeing?
Taft is kind of getting themselves kind of with a little bit of medium block defensive pressure. That's a little bit dangerous there. And Taft's organized, though. They're one of the best defensive teams in the state, so they're going to be okay. But they're playing compact. They're not kind of exposing themselves to go forward too much right now.
Yeah, that is their style, to be sure. Meanwhile, we'll have our first corner kick. Covarrubias will take the kick for Fresno. And we'll see our first set piece here. Opportunity, and it'll come for Fresno City here on the corner kick. Hooked in by Covarrubias and sent out. Not all the way out, just outside the box. That one blocked at the point. Yeah, and you have the feeling that Taft all season long, they're going to be fairly comfortable in this format. This is a style that they seem to employ, and they certainly didn't seem to panic when they fell behind Cerritos 1-0 in the very early going in that matchup. And I suppose if you're not going to panic against the top-ranked team in the power rankings early on, then pretty much nobody's going to make you panic.
Yeah. They came from behind in the first round as well, in the first round contest of the playoffs too. So
against Lassen, if memory serves that's right. Yeah, that ended up being a very close game. And we were talking with Dave LaTourette from Santa Rosa Junior College on Friday, and Lassen, one of those teams evidently that also had gotten off to a bit of a slow start and was really a different team once the postseason arrived.
This is where they're going to be a little bit dangerous on the little counter from Fresno, though.
They break have out with the Perez out in front. This is Magana who swings it outside. And there we go. There's a call on the far side. Trying to see who went down there for Taft here in the 7th minute. So we'll have our first quick stoppage.
25.
Yeah, it should be Christian Cabrera then, as we're trying to get the number, and it's Cabrera who is up. And a pretty solid collision. It draws a call. And it should be a free kick then that'll come from the far side.
Fresno's left back went out in the semifinal, right? On an ACL, so that player has been kind of coming on.
This is Roland. Gonzalo Roland. will take the free kick for Taft. Chips it into the box, sent back out by Sykes. Taft trying to generate something in the box, but it's cleared away. And we'll have a throw in for Taft. Well, 2 games that ended in scoreless ties, and if you're coaching in this type of situation, is this a situation where you even can attempt to change anything, or should we look for an overwhelming likelihood that we'll see something very, very similar here in how these teams approach the game?
I think the likelihood of similarities.
One-timer, just wide.
I think the likelihood of similarities is pretty good, but both teams are going to try to free up their top player a little bit. I think with Rodriguez, they're going to try some different things, try to get other people involved from a little more combination play to try to get him free, I think.
Marino, meanwhile, had the one-timer but couldn't quite get it on goal. And Fresno City and Castrejón in goal will launch this one. Tor gets a head on it. And again, the Rams very patient in the backfield against the pressure. Now a long pass, and they try to center off the header from Rodriguez. Hard drive from Sykes. Centering, sent back out. Tor giving chase. But this should be a corner kick again for Fresno. Their second here in the early going.
Sykes on the ball for the Rams.
Keep it on the ground out front. Perez able to win the ball momentarily. Now the Rams have it back on the far side. Good pressure from Taft. Chases them back to the midfield stripe. Morales. And Sykes. Marked by Moreno, and it's Moreno that comes up with the steal. Tor. The long pass ahead looking for Magana. Perez out to Moreno. Taft trying to mount something, but Sykes gets back. Pokes that one free. Taft looks like stepping up the aggressiveness at least a little bit here as we move forward. They center it to Magana, who starts a move, but they quickly converge on him. And now Sykes will touch it back, and they'll launch back into the Taft zone. Rodriguez gets a head on it, wins it, gets it back on the give and go, but can't quite get there. Boy, you just constantly have to keep your eyes on a guy like Rodriguez. You can see here even early on. And
yeah,
did they catch Rodriguez with a handball there?
Yeah, I think so. Taft's done a good job of still getting numbers back behind the ball, though. There's pretty much have 5 back behind the ball, even in transition. So.
Well, we saw Magana get the ball briefly in the center there on the last push from Taft, and you saw a couple of guys immediately run at him. And is that a sign that they just want to get the ball away from him as quickly as possible if they can?
Definitely the target for Taft. So.
Pass from Tor. Draws a whistle, and it'll go back to Fresno here in the 12th minute.
Just the way soccer goes is the team that has the ball a little bit more naturally exposes themselves in the back a little bit. Magana might be able to get something out of it.
Aguilera, meanwhile, couldn't quite find the handle, but the Rams regained control in the 12th minute, no score. Chipped into the zone, Rodriguez tried to get a head on it, but couldn't get it on goal. Sent back out. This is Alvarez, and they'll try to switch the attack over to Morales and out to Sykes. Sykes in from the right, looking to put a foot on it, and it's blocked by Tor. Sykes goes down, no call. Chipped back in. This is Rodriguez just outside the box. Looking for a lane. Left footer and a goal! Sensational goal from Rodriguez. Gonna see if we can get the replay for you.
It was basically a win. Sykes won a ball high up in the end after he lost it and did a really good job of transitioning and winning the ball back. And then Rodriguez had 4 guys on him and just created half the width of the ball and freaking buried it in the back of the net. That was a good finish from him.
Meanwhile, back to live action. We do apologize we couldn't get the replay, but this is a good time to mention that all the games here on SoCalCollegeSports.com will be archived to YouTube. So the play is not gone forever by any stretch of the imagination, and we'll certainly be clipping out that highlight and put it on our site, www.SoCalCollegeSports.com, because that was a sensational effort from Rodriguez and should live on. And it will, and you can always find all of our games on YouTube by searching our YouTube channel, SoCal College Sports 1. On YouTube, all of our games are there, archived, as long as YouTube is around. So Fresno takes the 1-0 lead on the goal by Rodriguez. Just an incredible effort, and Fresno grabs the early lead here in the 14th minute. A free kick, meanwhile, for Taft, and an opportunity chipped to the far post, and Castrejón up with a sensational stop. Sorry, just be right back. Matt, can you come down here, please? I need you. I'm sorry. This computer, I can't get the mouse pad to work, and I'm afraid we're not even on the right shot anymore. Do you want to use my mouse? Because I can't. That thing is, I can't do it. I think I moved things around on the FX pad, on the FX tool there. Because something's wrong with like the left mouse. So. You want to put this in? Okay, and then just update the score. Sorry. Okay. If we can use this, can we? Because if I have to do anything, I will. That thing is very temperamental with me.
Everybody right now.
Okay.
I don't have enough USB space.
Damn it. Well, I can't use that pad at all.
You have a hub?
No, not that I'm aware of. Hey, I apologize. Back to action here in the 16th minute, and a 1-0 lead for Fresno, and we'll get the shot going for you here in a second. Fresno on the attack, but they'll back it out. Now, how does this obviously adjust how you approach it? We're still early, but Taft finds themselves in a hole again, now down 1-0, Jason.
I think just Taft has to kind of continue to play like this into the half, though. I mean, we're only 15 minutes into the game, so there's a lot of game left to be played, and I think they've been successful coming from behind, so I don't think this is any place they haven't been. But Fresno obviously is the aggressor with the possession of play, though.
Well, it is noteworthy that between these two teams, the first goal comes in the 135th, or I should say the 255th minute between these two teams, if my math is correct here, after 2 scoreless ties during the regular season. Finally, someone breaks through, and not surprisingly, it's Rodriguez for Fresno, and the 1-0 lead. Back to Cabrera. Taft wants to reset here in the 17th minute.
He showed his class on that goal, though. He really did. Just opened his hips and buried it.
The pass ahead, through, and back to Cabrera, and Taft will mount another attack. That one broken up at the midfield. Sykes going to reset here for Fresno. Back to Castrejón. And he will send it down. Well, Fresno jumped on Mount San Antonio College early as well, getting off to a 2-0 start before the Mounties were able to steady themselves somewhat and try to get back into the game, but they ran out of time. And Fresno able to win that one 2-1. And they've gotten themselves right where they want to be here in the final. Chip pass ahead. Felix can't quite corral it, but now Taft tracks it down on the far side. A rush developing on the far side. This is Magana. Wants to center, looking for Perez. The header sent back out. Recovered by Marino. A shot from outside the box is blocked at the point. They find Magana. Magana right of the box, tries to center again. That one blocked. Back out. Cabrera starts the attack. Again sent back out. Do we have somebody working the camera now? Thank you. Okay. What? We may as well switch a few shots if we can too. Tor. You see Taft starting to step up the aggression, at least somewhat. A one-hopper to Castrejón in the 19th minute. Castrejón going to take some time. And it looks like Castrejón prefers to do the kicks not holding the ball, but rather puts it down. And seems like he can get a further launch, but talk a little bit about, is that just a personal preference kind of thing in a goalkeeper of how they like to go about? Yeah,
I think he puts it down on the ground to potentially actually play out of the back too. If they continue to drop off, he's just going to play it to his center backs or his outside backs and be able to play out of it too. So.
Perez starts a move, leaves it for Magana outside, centers, looking for Marino. Marino slides it back. A chance here for Taft, just wide.
That was a good chance.
That was Coronado that had a look but sent it just wide of the mark, and it remains 1-0 Fresno here in the 20th minute. Well, judging by the way that Taft has come out in the last several minutes, maybe they're one of these teams that needs to take one on the chin here, and that kind of wakes them up offensively because they're obviously very efficient and effective when they step up the aggressiveness in terms of generating offensive chances.
Yeah, with those two strikers with 17 and 21, they're going to cause them a little bit of problems in the center of the back, though.
Perez and Magana, and it was Magana again in the second half in the semifinal that scored the goal that ultimately tied that one up. And again, we're very happy you've joined us here for the 3C2A Men's and Women's Soccer Championship here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Jeff Stoynoff, Sierra head coach Jason Gant joining us today. Free kick now for Taft. Here's the approach and the chip, looking for Tor, and it's over everybody. And Castrejón will have the kick for Fresno.
I just got down here. I asked JoJo to help out with the camera.
Castrejón again launches this one toward the midfield stripe, sent back by Cervantes. Magana giving chase, but the bicycle kick sends it back the other way. Tor finding Felix. Felix has that one knocked away. Taft's going to have to reset. Fresno with the turnover, and they've got it. See if the Rams can generate Another scoring chance here after they force the turnover, but instead they'll chip it down the far side. It'll be a throw-in for Taft here in the 23rd minute. Perez, or this is Marino rather. Sykes giving chase. Leaves it outside. Misses Perez. Has that one poked away. Down goes Sykes, and that'll draw a whistle. So the ball back to Fresno. Well, we sometimes wonder, Jason, when a team is having so much difficulty, at what point does frustration set in when you just can't seem to find a goal against the team? We're talking about, going on 260-plus minutes.
Yeah, I think we're getting us into the second half. They're still okay. I mean, Taft actually has started to get a little bit more of the ball here.
Yeah, I make the point that, Taft, at least in terms of how it appears, and you have to guess a little bit in terms of body language, but they don't seem particularly frustrated or rattled by it, and you wonder after about 260 minutes if there's a thought of, can we score on these guys? But obviously,
I think with the chances that they had, they definitely believe they can.
Yeah. Well, that was another thing that we talked about with Dave LaTorrette. It's about the quality of chances, and if you're seeing those chances, then the confidence going to remain high. That eventually you're gonna find your way.
Yeah. After Fresno scored the goal, they've lost a little bit of possession though. Taft has kind of taken over a little tiny bit of possession, but it also opens Taft up a little bit now to transition.
Yeah, so. and again, we're having a little trouble with some of the numbers, but I believe Rodriguez is still out there as I'm eyeballing toward midfield.
Yep, he's still there.
Another centering effort, but nobody home, and Castrajón able to scoop it up for Fresno. We have the men's final here later today, 2 o'clock start. We'll have the women's final. And that's a fantastic matchup on the women's side with Fresno City and Santa Barbara, 2 undefeated teams during this regular season and postseason. So somebody's dream season here is going to end in a championship, and it's been 2 dominating efforts from those 2 teams, and it's hard to know which team is going to be able to keep it going, and we'll find out. Perez faces up on the far side, leaves it behind. They try to center, and it's sent back out. The Rams control it. Sykes faces up on Tor. This is Rodriguez. And now the Rams start to settle into more of the ball possession that we saw in the early going that ultimately led to the goal from Rodriguez, though it was a scintillating individual effort from Rodriguez that ultimately closed the deal. Sykes working on Tor. Centers it up. And a 50-50 ball, and it draws a whistle. And what was the call there, Jason?
I think it was just a shoving. I kind of missed it a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of pushing up top. They're battling for that ball, and they give it to Taft. Into the 27th minute. Working on the far side.
The service into Taft strikers hasn't been great, though. A lot of balls up in the air around the striker's head and neck.
So you're talking about like longer entry passes?
Yeah, the balls from the back into the striker's feet. And Taft is definitely kind of throwing more numbers forward. They definitely get more players up in the attacking third. So
they try to skip it ahead. Morales gets ahead on it. Over to Sykes. Back out toward the midfield stripe. Tor trying to control. Off to Rodriguez, trying to ward off a defender. Coronado gets the call. So they just catch Rodriguez there throwing a little elbow on that one. And back to, well, it was just a throw-in actually from Tor, and it's out of play again. So Tor will throw it in once again.
Got a little chippy there, though.
Well, you have to expect that there's going to be at least some of that based on familiarity alone.
Yeah, I would think
with
so.
these teams
Exactly.
having spent a lot of time playing each other. Coronado tried to one-time it, but it's knocked away at the point by Santos, Mateus Santos for Fresno. Over on the far side, chipped into the box, and it's Castrejón elevating for the stop, and that's a good aggressive play by Castrejón in goal for Fresno. Goes out of the air this time.
There's a little bit of space in the back behind Fresno's two outside backs that Taft's been trying to exploit a little tiny bit here lately.
Well, it is interesting to me that my memory was Magana spent a lot of time on the left side, working more in the center, but they have him over on the far side, working on the right. And is that a situation where obviously he's a kind of player that has some versatility and they can move him around, but maybe something that you see, is that something that you pick up on and maybe try to position a guy where you think he's going to get a good look based on what you know about the other team?
Yeah, the left back for Fresno went down in the first game on an ACL, or in the semifinal on an ACL. So the player that's playing left back right now is unfamiliar a little bit with the back line. So maybe they're trying to push him onto there, thinking maybe that they can get a little bit of insecurities kind of going on there.
I got to tell you, I think you nailed it. Perez in traffic gets it back from Marino. And a 50-50 won by Fresno. Santos sends it outside. This one chipped out of play. Centering pass, and a whistle comes in, and this will be awarded to Taft. He's going to have a free kick from outside the box, but nonetheless, good offensive opportunity perhaps from this spot for the Cougars here in the 30th minute. Roland will take the free kick. Magana over on the left side of the box next to Cervantes and Tor. We'll see where Roland elects to go. Chipped, looking for Magana. The header just off the mark, I should say, on the right side. And over the end line, this should go back to Castrejón and goal. No, they're going to give it a corner kick.
Yeah,
I thought that looked like it might have gone off Magana, but the call is off of Fresno. So a corner kick, this is the first, I believe, for Taft here in the 31st minute.
There was a lot of guys getting free on that free kick, though, just for free headers. So.
Yeah, Magana for a moment appeared to have a little space, but couldn't direct that one on goal. Felix will take the corner kick for Taft. Chips it in. Cervantes in the area. Somebody down for Fresno, but quickly pops back up. So they'll give this one to Castrejón. And what was the call there?
Just a pushing from behind.
Okay. So that'll work against Taft, and the ball awarded to Fresno.
Fresno's gone big on every single goal kick here or any free kick out of the back since they went up 1-0. They haven't tried to play out of the back at all.
And the advantage of playing out of the back?
They get a little more possession, and they're having a lot of success with it. But games change when you go up a goal, though, right?
Yeah. Well, and is it a sense of that there's a faith in maybe their athleticism and ability to win a 50-50 ball out there and maybe get a chance out of it?
Yeah, when you got Rodriguez up top, you can ride it a little bit, huh?
Tor over to the near side. Well, that's exactly what they've done. The lead pass too strong, and back to Fresno. Sykes works to the middle. Finds Lopez, but it's tipped away. A long pass ahead, and this one over everybody, and Castrejón in the area comes out to take this one for Fresno. 1-0, the Rams, on a goal from Johnny Rodriguez. Have the lead here. It's the men's championship 3C2A men's soccer here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Fresno City. Tor battling Sykes over to the near side, and it's out of play. And who does it belong to? It will stay with Fresno City. Perez was working against Sykes, but they're going to say it's off of Taft. Morales will have the throw in. And this is where you get a little nervous if you're a Taft fan, because this is Rodriguez territory here. They moved into the Taft zone, and obviously you can make so much happen.
They scored off a long throw in the semifinal, correct?
Well, I know the first goal came on a corner kick.
The second one was off of
on a throw-in, yeah.
Or the first one, yeah.
Well, it's, they have the kind of players they have. Obviously, off of a set type of play, a set piece, they can make so many things happen. It becomes so dangerous when you have the kind of talent they have, individual talent.
Well, they got a corner here. This should be exciting. Sending the big man up top from the back, the 12.
And is it Morales that will take the okay. Getting the call there. Emerson Hernandez. Midfielder will take the corner kick. And now it's interesting that they're talking about they have most of the players outside the box right now. And are they disguising something here? Or,
they're trying to get people running on so they can attack the ball off the air. They're looking for 12. Lopez there.
Hooked in and headed back out. Taft defends it well. Shot blocked at the point. Rams still in control. Having a little trouble in traffic. A battle. Ball squirts loose. The Rams still keep it. But a foul call or a whistle comes in. And is this going to be a free kick for Fresno?
Alabama got it at Ohio State. So I would have gone with Alabama.
35th minute. Free kick coming for Fresno.
Rodriguez is going to hit this thing.
Rodriguez on the ball for the Rams.
Rodriguez will take the free kick. Hooks this one on goal. Garcia there. Well, the accuracy was there, but Garcia
it was a little bit
in
far
position.
out. That was probably 40 yards out. So
long pass sent back to the midfield stripe. Squirts out to Tor. Leaves it for Marino. Coronado. And now the Cougars will reset. Cabrera. Gonzalo tries to switch it to Tor. Tor can't find the handle. And it'll go back to Fresno. Rodriguez starts a move. Working against Cabrera. Poked free to Felix. Now the Cougars start to mount a charge. Coronado slips through. Perez looking, finds Tor. Tor makes a little move. In on the box, squirts it out. Coronado centers, nobody home. Kept alive by Cervantes. This is Magana. Magana on the drive, centers again. It was free for a moment. One-timer over the crossbar.
Taft's been dangerous. That was a good chance. They got in behind. They've gotten in behind and got balls cut back a couple of times, and Taft's definitely been on top of it.
Well, is there anything scarier than for a defense than that moment when the ball squirts away from the goalkeeper in the box?
Especially when you're facing your own goal and balls are getting cut back. No, it's very scary.
because we've seen that a couple of times where when that ball gets loose and everybody's out of position at that point, and it's a free-for-all, and you usually see a very good look, and Taft had one there, but couldn't convert just over the crossbar, and it remains 1-0. Cougars win it again, looking for Perez, but it slips by. Sent back out by Santos. Recovered on the far side. Now the Rams will attempt to play a little possession as they move it back to Castrejón. Well, you think to the second half. That one nearly intercepted. Taft wants a handball, and they're going to get it on Aguilera. You think back to the second half, and Fresno got off to the 2-0 lead, and then it was Mount San Antonio College ratcheting up the pressure that really seemed to bring it for the last about the third of the game. And it's a little bit reminiscent here where they got the early lead again, and then it's Taft stepping up the pressure, and Fresno hasn't really been able to get the same kind of momentum going after taking the lead. Yeah, they've struggled a little bit. They just got it a little tiny bit just now where they've tried to start to play again a little bit. Tried to play out of the back. Center back got a hold of the ball, but they gave it away in possession in the middle third. So 39th minute. Gonzalo Roland will take the free kick. It looks like Taft overloading the far side. Chip toward the far post. Castrejón out, and he's high up to get it again. And I'll tell you, Castrejón has had a very good first half, but also pretty good hands. He's good. He's on the catch. Air, looking for Rodriguez, and it's past everybody. Meanwhile, a player down. It's Felix for Taft. He's slowly getting up. I think he got an inadvertent it might have been, caught one on the nose, but he is up. Tor steps in front on the pass looking for Aguilera. It's a loose ball at midfield, but the Rams recover back to Santos. This build-up from the back to the middle third is where Fresno's kind of struggled here lately. Just kind of, as Taft started to put a little bit higher line of confrontation, Fresno struggled to play into the middle third. And you talked about bringing more players up, and is that an effort to challenge in sort of the middle zone? And long pass looking for Perez, and it's knocked out of play, but by Fresno, so a corner kick coming. And that seems like a very solid strategy, because it would appear that the last thing you want if you're facing Fresno is Johnny Rodriguez operating in your defensive zone. So if you can stop them before they get there, it might be worth the risk. The only problem is that they do have the players to be able to play, so they can knock it around and eventually kind of build past you. Felix will take the corner kick for Taft as we roll into the 41st minute here in the first half. Again, looking for the far post. They want to find Magana. Another corner. And this one off of Fresno. We'll have another corner. This one coming from the other side, so Felix heads to the other side. Hey, Matt, are we're able to switch cameras? Is the other camera working and stuff? Cool. That's explain all you want for me. It's not you. So Felix will head to the other side. Now Magana heads to the top of the box. He's the leading scorer for Taft on the season. They overload the near side. Cervantes knifing in. Should say that was Cabrera. Fresno dodged a bullet a little bit right there, I think. Yeah, Cabrera appeared to have a lane to the ball, but not a lot on it as it came out, and it was a relatively easy stop for Castrejón. But the chance was nearly there. Meanwhile, Taft able to dig this one out. Perez leaves it for Coronado. Now to the outside. They trying to skip it ahead, looking for Marino. Sent back out. Aguilera recovers for Fresno.
This one pop flies to the near side. Armando Gonzalez, who's come on for Fresno. Santos one-times it into the Taft zone, looking for Rodriguez, battling against Cabrera, and Cabrera wins that one. Aguilera trying to find Gonzalez on the touch pass, and it's Garcia out for Taft to come up with that one.
Can you make sure that we're not? I'm a little concerned that we might be a little too soft on the audio level.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Tor at midfield. Perez. That one back out to Coronado. And now the Cougars will reset with Cabrera.
Fresno's made a change through defensive midfield as well. They brought off the, I think it's Alvarez, and brought on the number 23. He's a little bit more of a kind of a connector guy.
Emerson Hernandez. Now, what is a connector guy for those that might not know?
Well, just being able, they're trying to build out, be able to play from the back to the mid and get him to spray some balls forward, where Alvarez is a big-time ball winner, and he's also good at spraying a ball, but kind of changed the look up a little bit maybe for Fresno.
Gonzalez working back to his left. Gets it back. Tries to center. Blocked at the point. Morales one-times it into the box. Rodriguez had it just momentarily, but it's sent back out where the Rams will recover and set it up again as we move into the 45th minute. Closing in on what should be fairly brief extra time here in the first half, if my memory serves. Chipped ahead. Again, Rodriguez can't quite find the handle. But the Rams still in control. That one over the end line, and we'll have a corner kick. So a chance here for the Rams very late in the first half. And we talk about in a lot of the sports we covered, but this is always a dangerous time, seemingly no matter what the sport, where you can lose a little bit of focus right near the end of that first of the half, or maybe that first bit of the second half.
Yep, Taft needs to be sharp here.
Entered in and sent back out. And Taft continues to defend the corners well in a couple of chances. I don't recall that Fresno's really had a good opportunity on goal on any of their corners so far.
No, set pieces definitely, Taft's been better on set pieces in my opinion.
Santos lofts it for Gonzalez. Gonzalez controls it for a moment, now still has it. Chance here possibly for one more rush for Fresno. Tor all over Rodriguez, who sends it back out, and now they'll work it around and try and switch the attack as Hernandez moves it over to the far side. Santos head up. Finds Rodriguez, who's come all the way back, but Cabrera all over him, and he wins the ball. A rush here for Taft. Magana marked by Rodriguez. Magana goes down. No call as of now. Hard rush for Cervantes, and he tries to center, but it's taken out of bounds, and it'll be a corner kick for Taft. So Magana went down there on the drive, and no call on that, as it's being marked by Rodriguez, and a good job by Rodriguez challenging his opposite number in the leading scorer, Magana. But now the Rams will have to defend. Corner kick coming for Taft here. We're in extra time in the first half. Chipped at the goal mouth, Castrejón right there. And that will do it. We head to halftime here in the men's championship, the 3C2A soccer championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Fresno City leading it 1-0 over Taft on SoCalCollegeSports.com.
And remember, everybody, if you have friends or family that could not make it to today's games, be sure to let them know that they can watch all of our broadcasts on our website at www.socalcollegesports.com or on our YouTube channel at SoCal College Sports 1. And be sure to tweet out to us at SoCal College SPO. That's SPO if you want to send a shout out to one of your favorite players or just let us know how you're doing. And we will go ahead and get that on the air for you. We will be back in a moment as the 3C2A Men's Soccer Championship continues after the half. Back in a moment.
far post. With Tor, Magana, Perez. And this one over the crossbar, and it'll go back to Fresno.
If Taft's going to try to get back into this game to tie it, they can't waste opportunities like that, like set pieces.
Yeah, unable to even generate any kind of shot. And Castrejón has it down. Launches into Taft territory where Lopez finds the handle. Tries to one-time it back to Aguilera, but the loose ball picked up by Taft. Magana starting a push. Fresno gets back. Tor chips it into the box. Sent out. Aguilera wheels it back to midfield. Looks like Sykes on the run on the far side, but it's Taft with Cabrera able to get the handle and win the ball. We'll have a throw in for Taft here in minute 54. Fresno with the ball now. Starts their push on the right side. Centering pass, looking for Lopez, headed on goal, but Garcia's got a hand on it.
Garcia did well with that. Made himself big and just kind of got in the right spot.
Well, let's face it, when you're talking about 1-0 here in the second half, every save by Garcia probably could be accurately characterized as a game saver for the moment.
Yep. Sykes did well to get a good service in, and Rodriguez created a little bit of distance for Sykes by dribbling at the back line a little bit.
Felix battling Sykes for the ball, and it's given to Taft. Cougars get back to it. Perez leading the charge, fans it out to Cabrera. Cabrera starting to move, tries to thread one between two defenders, but regains. Cabrera starts a move, poked back out, and the offside call.
If I'm Taft right now, on any free kick or anything around midfield, I'm trying to play quickly. It's not let Fresno get all set up and get their players back into the back line and organized. I think they tried to do it right there, and they kind of got a little bit of a break rather than just lumping balls into the box like they've been doing a little bit.
Well, you can expect, obviously, as time certainly becomes more of a factor. You certainly want to generate as many chances as you can as well. Still trailing in this one.
Fresno's looking for predictability, right? They're trying to let Taft just try to play predictable. Big balls in on top of them, and they got the boys to go out and win the balls.
Perez wins it on the far side, trying to drive.
It's going to be a
but
corner.
This one poked free, but it will be a corner kick for Taft.
Corner kick, Taft.
So Taft pushing the action more here early in the second half, but they haven't broken through yet.
6 this time. 6. Coronado on the ball.
Coronado will take the corner kick. Last time, Taft unable to generate a chance. And this time, Coronado lines it up. Through the goal mouth and sent back out. Taft keeps it in for the moment. Tor battling. Sent back out once again by the Rams. Cervantes over to Coronado.
It's gonna be a
Coronado goes down. Lopez draws the foul. It'll be a free kick. Cervantes quickly on top of it, but instead it's going to be Felix that will take the free kick. And it seems like in all these situations, again, they continue to overload that far post as they work for the right here.
Trying to open up some space for people to run into it so they can attack it and possibly lose a mark as they're running through the gap.
Cougars setting up largely outside the box, and Felix signals, and he's ready. Hooks this one to the far side. Headed out by Fresno. Sykes on the far side giving chase. He'll just send this one out of play, and Cougars will have the throw in. Here as we wind toward the 58th minute, and as you talked about, Jason, you see the Cougars continuing to push the pace with a quick throw in.
Yeah, and Fresno's going to have to have a little bit of gamesmanship to slow down stuff and grab a ball, take a little bit of time off the clock. I know it's a little bit early for that, but just not let them take quick stuff, because that's where they can't get the numbers back behind the ball.
Fresno wins the throw in. They'll switch the attack to the near side. Mendoza trying to get it back on the give and go, and a whistle.
That was a little bit soft in my opinion.
And that draws an immediate reaction. Now what happened there, and what was the
call?
Well,
he tried to play a little 1-2 off the center striker, tried to bounce it off and get it back off, and got pushed from behind, the referee said, as he tried to step and win it. I thought he won it pretty cleanly, but that's my opinion.
So the call goes against Taft, and it will be a free kick for Fresno. Danger here if you're Taft. Lopez hooks this one to the far side. A soft header on goal, but an easy stop for Garcia.
All he's trying to do is head it back across the face of the goal at that point. Big ball into the far post. He's not trying to score that. He's trying to create a second chance.
Loose ball.
Oof.
No call as it was tore.
He's giving him a yellow for a simulation. He's giving him a yellow for diving right there. I thought it was a foul.
Well, you have to wonder at the timing here. We see a call go against Taft that drew a reaction, and now less than a minute later, a very fortunate call, and you wonder if maybe there's, referees are human here. Is there a little bit of a makeup call?
I don't know.
In that situation, as that was a very favorable call, obviously, for Taft.
It felt like Rodriguez was embellishing that and trying to get the foul, so maybe. There's referees reffed in the MLS before, too, so he's got a little bit of experience, so got to give him that.
Long pass ahead to Tor. Heads it into the box, but sent back out, and Fresno able to defend and get it back now. Trying to mount a counter. Sykes streaking down the far side, battling, and the ball is loose and won by Taft on the far side with Cabrera. Nice job by Cabrera. Winning the battle against Sykes. Yeah. Sorry about that, Jay.
No, they're starting to play quick free kicks, though. He got fouled. Sykes fouled him, put it down, played it quick. Taft is trying to play quicker because they know they have to be unpredictable now to create the chances. And Sykes can get in where Water wouldn't. That guy, he's pesky.
Tor's long pass is broken up. Loose ball won back by Taft. Cougars still trailing it. Marino leaves it on the one-timer for Felix, but it's broken up. Possible counter developing for the Rams if they want to push it. Rodriguez in the center. Quickly double-teamed, but he still has the ball. Rodriguez still on the drive. Little contact up top, and now Taft just sends it out of play, and Rodriguez was going 1-on-4 there, and he wasn't losing.
No, he wasn't. He definitely had a bundle of speed and was going. I thought he got kicked a couple times, in my opinion, but didn't go down.
The Cougars ultimately just have to play that one out of play in order to regroup, and we'll have a throw-in for Fresno with Mendoza.
Fresno's kind of hoping they can get that second one. The referee's talking to him about gaining too much ground on his throw-in. He's moving up too forward. Something there.
Mendoza gets it back after the throw-in. Looking for Lopez. The ball poked free. Magana has some open field. Slide tackle and a beauty. Alvarez able to take down Magana and win the ball back for Fresno. What a job by Alvarez, and not just against anybody. It was against Hugo Magana.
Alvarez has definitely been a stalwart in the middle of midfield. He's got good size. He wins balls. He's got good idea where to be. His positioning is pretty good.
Long pass from Felix finds the mark, but the ball lost out of bounds. Magana can't get anything going. For Taft, back to Fresno in the 62nd minute.
Now Fresno's going to do the opposite. They're going to slow things down and try to slow the game down a little bit every chance they have.
Here's the approach. In front of the box, the header sends it in, and Garcia
Up with it.
just able to get forward and get that ball as trouble was developing rapidly as Sykes was on top of him. Cabrera
Quick
gets a
free
little
kick
push.
again.
Quick free kick finds Perez. Perez has that one poked free by Lopez, but it'll stay with Taft. Cervantes will take the throw in.
Sykes is coming off the field. Looks like they're putting fresh guys on to run at their back line and keep people going at them. Keep Sykes fresh a little tiny bit.
Well, Sykes, obviously you can't look past Rodriguez, who has the big goal and has represented so much danger, but you have to imagine that's somewhat of a welcome sight for Taft, as Sykes has been quite effective in generating chances as well.
Yeah, every player that Fresno's brought in, though, has matched the work rate, though. Their strikers have all worked hard. Midfielders that have come in worked hard. They've done a pretty good job. And Taft has worked their tails off here to try to get back in this game to get a goal. They've definitely been the aggressor.
Cervantes centers. Free but not out, and now cleared away by Fresno. And we have a whistle on the contact.
It's a little bit of a tactical foul, so when you're in the attacking third and you lose the ball, to kind of make a foul to kind of get numbers back behind the ball. So that was a little bit of a tactical foul.
Kind of thing that brought about the breakaway foul rule in basketball, where
Exactly.
you gain a little advantage by doing that. Well, no free throws here, so I guess you can't have a similar rule. Sent across, but the only one there is Cabrera, and Cabrera gets ahead of steam, wants to chip it forward. He was looking for Magana, but a trio of black jerseys in the area. Tor moving forward, sends this one back in, but the Rams again there. Lopez will send it back. Looking for Mendoza. Alvarez and Lopez, and this is a little more of the ball control now for Fresno. Lopez moving in on Cabrera, switches it to the far side. Third meeting of the season between these two teams. First two ended in scoreless ties.
So they were co-champions for the CVC conference.
In the Central Valley, absolutely.
Yeah. So the winner of this game get the trophy and the state title?
I think that, I think the winner of this game wins the battle between these two teams. You have to feel that way. So yeah, this is a battle for the state championship and the battle between each other for for a more personal title between these two teams that know each other so very well.
That's my view. It's like, to me, it's like having a piece of paper.
Chipped in front, and Garcia this time. High up. A Castrejón-like play from Garcia. Quick counter developing, and down goes Perez.
Same thing, a little bit of a tactical foul there. Got them so they can get numbers back behind the ball.
Cougar free kick.
Felix leaves it for Cabrera, who will quickly get it started. Tor tries to leave it on the far side. Magana has to chip it back out to Tor, knocked out of play, and it's off of Taft, I believe. Yep. Well, they've switched the side on Magana as well. He was working on the right side in the first half, and they moved him over to the left.
Trying to free him up.
And I have to say, I think it made sense that with a a reserve in, and Fresno scrambling somewhat on that left side defensively that they wanted to try Magana over there. But the Rams were up to the challenge in the first half, and Magana didn't really end up with a great look that I can recall.
No, he didn't. The other player did well.
Cabrera battling and has that one taken away. Great job defensively, and Fresno sends it back out to midfield. Cervantes, Lopez has the steal ahead to Rodriguez. Rodriguez taken down. Big reaction from Cervantes.
That's a straight.
That's a red card. Huge play from Cervantes, and I got to tell you, Jason, I think it was a little elbow after the tackle that really brought the red card. I could be wrong.
For me, it was that he was in 1v1 with the goalkeeper. Brought him down, just straight red.
I don't know if we have a replay on that, Matt, if we were able to get that, if we're still working on something.
No, he completely missed the ball. I don't think his timing was great on it. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving going on now.
Well, this is an enormous development in the game here in the 68th minute. The red card on Cervantes. And Fresno City already leading.
Denying
1-0.
Denying a clear goal-scoring chance is why he sent him off.
Well, we have to, talk about this for a little bit here, but the speed of Rodriguez, he might have been in, but I think Taft players were closing in from both sides. I wouldn't necessarily. Now, they're talking about, because if you're even with two players, is that determined that you're still then, unabated, if you will, to the goal?
Yeah. I think I'd want the call. If I was the coach for Fresno City, I'd want that call. So, but you never want to see a player get sent off, though.
Rodriguez hooks it around the wall, but Garcia right there. So now this will result in a man-up situation for Fresno for the rest of the game.
Oftentimes, teams playing down a player, though, after if they can get through this next probably 7 or 8 minutes, they tend to take over the game a little bit because guys tend to work a little bit harder, and team up a man kind of takes a little bit of a breath.
Yeah, well, if you need a goal in a championship game, I can't imagine there's a much greater incentive to work hard in the second half down a player. So, you have to expect. Well, that's a little bit of what we saw where Cerritos was down a man in the semifinals, but really dominated over time, playing a man down, but couldn't break through against Taft. And ultimately it was Taft that won it in penalty kicks, or advanced in penalty kicks, I should say. So Cervantes will have a free kick on the near side. Chipped into the box. Over the wall of white jerseys, I should say.
There we go.
Into the box once
Offside.
again. Here's another whistle and an offsides call as Torres sent that one in.
And Torres got himself not stepping back with the play. Really on that red card play, it was the tackle in midfield over here on the right-hand side that really made the play, and it was a good ball in behind to Rodriguez. And Rodriguez got a bundle of speed going forward.
Yeah, I think there's no question you had to, try to take down Rodriguez if you could. You can't have him going in one-on-one on Garcia. It's not going to go well.
And I think he tried to win the ball. I don't think it was malicious by any means. I think he just mistimed it.
So now the Rams have it back. We're into the 71st minute, and Taft now playing a player down. After the red card on Cervantes, Christian Cervantes sent off after tackling Rodriguez on a developing breakaway.
Fresno's bringing back on their starting group too. Be interesting what kind of things Taft do to try to play with the player down. They look like they have two strikers right now. They were playing like a 4-3-3, 4-5-1 earlier.
Headed over the end line by Cervantes, so a corner kick coming. Now, how does a man down have an impact on how this type of play develops in a corner kick situation?
Well, yeah, I think there's so much time left. Taft still needs to get numbers back. They're leaving one guy high, but they're bringing everybody. Can't decide.
Staying out of the box.
Well, Fresno's keeping 3, so they're still even.
So who picks the MVP?
To the far post. The header to the near post, but it's sent out in front.
It's a foul for Taft here.
So Fresno commits the foul. I believe it was Coronado that went down. And the ball back to the Cougars.
So it looks like Taft's playing with 3 in the back now, with the 14 as they're holding mid and trying to put a little bit of number. They're going to have to push numbers forward a little bit and expose themselves in the back. And it's just going to be interesting, that matchup with Rodriguez and the 13 as the center back. And with Fresno playing with 2 strikers, it's going to put a little bit of pressure on that back line.
Rodriguez comes up a little bit lame. Over on the far side, meanwhile, an attack developing for Fresno. Sykes leaves it for Aguilera. This is Aguilera, top of the box. Touch pass, poked back outside. Fresno still in control. They switch it to Rodriguez on the far side. A whiff on a one-timer from the Cougars, and now this one cleared but not out. Partial contact once again, and a one-timer to goal! Mateus Araujo.
He struck that well. Taft with a couple of missed clearances, and they got a chance out of it.
And we'll see if we're going to get the replay here. But it is another just highlight reel. Goal for Fresno, and in the 74th minute, they go up 2-0.
Was it Araujo?
Great strike with his left foot on his half volley. That was a great goal.
Well, that may prove to be a backbreaker before it's all said and done. We're in the 74th minute, and Taft playing a man down, now facing a 2-0 deficit. Magana, if it's going to happen, it's got to start here. Magana moving left, in from the right, goes down, the ball's cleared away. Tor, 40 yards out, off to Cabrera. Cervantes. They work it around. Back to Tor. Chips it into the box. Magana was there, but it's headed back out. Rams have it back. Well, the Rams haven't had a whole lot of great opportunities, but they've made the most of a couple. And it's really, I mean, if you're Garcia in goal, you've been beaten by a couple of pretty special shots coming. I don't know how many goalkeepers there are anywhere that could have gotten a hand
that
on
was
the
a
2
good
shots
strike.
he ultimately let in. And, you know, it's always a fascinating game. Really, Taft has played on even terms in so many ways in this one, but it's Fresno City that has made the most of a couple of opportunities and gotten a couple of great plays. In from the left again, and a sprawling stop by Castrajón.
Yeah,
76th minute.
that last goal, it really came down to a couple clearances. They put them under a lot of pressure, and the clearances weren't kind of up to snuff, and we were able to kind of kept it in the attacking third, and the guy buried it.
Rodriguez tried to fan it out. The whistle comes. And now there's a little of that gamesmanship. I think you see there as the ball is kind of knocked away by a Fresno player to try and slow things down. And Tor into Fresno territory. Gets around his mark. Chips it to the far side. Centering, but Castrajón right there. Cabrera and Magana were closing in, and Castrajón with the good hands once again. 77th minute is upon us, and Fresno closing in on a championship. They lead it 2-0. Rodriguez gets it from Sykes. Rodriguez on the hard drive. Tries to thread a pass through, and it's Roland that's able to poke it free.
That's a foul.
lot of contact, no foul called. Instead, it will be a throw-in for Fresno.
Fresno's going to continue to slow things down. And Rodriguez, though, he gets you on the edge of your seat when he starts running with the ball at the back line, though, doesn't he?
Well, he's got that great combination of speed and pretty good size.
Yeah.
And he's not an easy guy, it would appear, to knock off the ball.
No.
Not too reliant on one or the other in particular, and I imagine that's what makes a player so very tough.
He's good at it.
When a guy's got equal measure, Magana, meanwhile, on a hard drive, but he's quickly surrounded.
And Gagne has the same ability a little bit. He can run at people.
Perez chips it in front. Castrejón up, and that was a dangerous play from Castrejón. He had a Taft player right on top of him. It looked like it was Marino. So it was Mateus Araujo who had the goal for Fresno. It puts them up 2-0 here in the 78th minute now.
Okay, good. So the way we think about doing it is that the captains of the runner-up team and the coach come get the trophy. We'll take a couple pictures with them.
Well, it would appear at this point that there's
the whole team up, and the whole team's coming up.
little choice for Taft but to take some real chances at this point.
Yeah.
What do you do here in this situation if you're in, let's face it, if you're in a situation that's probably no less than desperate at this point?
Yeah, you're hoping you get one and then make it a game in the last little bit. You know, it's all determined on being just pesky and resilient here and just to be able to try to get something here.
So
change the momentum.
So not so much any tactical changes really, but more just keep the pressure on if you can and hope you can get one to go.
You're down a man, so you can't. You go 3-0 down, you're completely done. But you got to throw numbers forward. So they've gone to 3 in the back. They're going to start playing a lot more direct here and just try to pump balls and try to put them under pressure.
Long kick from Roland. Sent back out. Cabrera tried to one-time it, but he misfires all the way to the far side. Tor trying to keep it alive and does, but Fresno
he's
sends it
worked
back.
his tail off that Tor.
Yeah, Clayton Tor.
Yeah.
Really working and having to work on more than one occasion against the likes of Sykes and Rodriguez, also back on the defensive end. I think Tor is a guy that they like to try and match up, it appears, from the 2 games that we've seen, because he's got that good frame for defense. I think he's kind of long and good feet.
He gets forward well too, though. His athleticism allows him to get forward, and he's been a pleasant surprise for them over on the left side.
Aguilera working with Mendoza. Mendoza goes down. Perez wins the ball, wants to throw it in, and does very quickly.
I thought that was a foul on Fresno.
Perez. Yeah, now I've heard you talk about that a little bit in the last few minutes here.
He's letting stuff go, though, a little bit. Oh, danger. Off the post.
Off the post. Castrejón was there. Another one in Castrejón. Did it get in?
No, it didn't.
Okay,
goalkeeper made a save.
Just got a hand on it. I don't know if we can get the replay for that. If we had a shot of it, it was Coronado. After the first shot was off the post, and we were shielded a little bit on that far post, and we saw Castrejón sprawling over, and he ultimately gets just a hand on it.
I saw the pink jersey and that orange ball. I thought that was in the back of the net.
Yeah. Well, Castrejón has faced some shots. He's had a busy day.
Yeah, they're 2 good efforts. One that hit the post on the near post, and then that one.
Attack developing here for Fresno if they want it. They'll switch it over to Sykes. Back to Lopez. Lopez around his man, gets a shot on goal, but Garcia down to his knees to play that one.
Lopez did well there. Good feet. Was able to kind of play out of pressure there and create his own chance.
Tor. Long pass wants Magana, but it's over everybody, and Castrejón comes out to play that one himself. A reminder, we have the Women's Championship coming up as well. That'll be at 2 o'clock. We will try to bring you the trophy presentation and get you a good shot of that and the championship presentation. And Looks like it's going to be Fresno City at this point, unless something pretty miraculous happens here. We're in the 82nd minute.
And we'll do that in the middle. We'll do that.
That went a little bit behind Lopez, and Garcia will send it back out. But then we'll step aside very briefly and rejoin you for the women's championship at 2 o'clock. Two undefeated teams, Santa Barbara and Fresno City. And can Fresno City perhaps sweep the men's and the women's here? And wouldn't that be something? Lopez in from the left, working to the right, looking for a lane. Back outside. Rams at this point content with any kind of ball possession. 83rd minute. Well, I'd be stupefied at this point, given what we've seen in the two games, if it wasn't Johnny Rodriguez for a tournament MVP here. But you got to believe. But that was one heck of a goal from Araujo as well.
That was a great finish.
That ultimately might have put this one away as much as anything. And it just highlights that, you've been talking about a number of guys as well that we've been able to mention here today that have had great games. And what can you say? It's come here to beat a team like Mount San Antonio College, defending champion no less, and then a Taft team that, 13 wins, 13-0-1, 13-0-1 in their last 14 contests. Coming into this one, so a team playing as well as anybody.
For me, Alvarez, the defensive midfielder, he's been like the unsung hero of this game for Fresno City. He's controlled. Even right now, he's talking to his back line. He's telling everybody, people in front of him, behind him, organizing and getting things going. So he's definitely a leader on the field there.
Juan Alvarez is talking about for Fresno City. Meanwhile, it's Alexis Figueroa walking gingerly off the field here. We're in the 84th minute.
The referee's
so
going to
have a little bit of
extra
time. Yeah.
But Rodriguez, he's been class. He's been dangerous. He's held the ball up for them in the attack, especially when they didn't have the ball as much, when Taft kind of got a little bit of the run of play, or a lot of bit of the run of play in the end of this first half and the beginning of the second half. And he's definitely been the man of the match.
Cervantes has it at midfield, and of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that there was an awfully big play in a red card that came about here in the second half. The shot from Perez, wide of the mark. But ultimately, I think we're in agreement. You made the call very quickly that you felt like that was a good call.
Yeah.
And just a great play to knock the ball free and set up Rodriguez on a breakaway situation, and Cervantes with the slide tackle, and the call came immediately. And I think it's fair to say you've been pretty impressed, pretty solid with the referee today.
Yeah, he's done a good job, I think.
Yeah,
he's let a lot of stuff go. He's been fair. I think he's been fair as an outside person. I think he's been completely fair.
So a big play in this one, no doubt, but not a controversial play.
No, I think
85th minute. Long pass up ahead. And the Rams there send it back out. Now the Cougars will regroup on the far side. Tor and Cabrera in the box. There's the centering pass, but it's too strong. And it will belong to Castrejón in goal for Fresno City here in the 86th minute. Well, let's get an early sense here. Now you know the women's teams very well.
Yeah.
Head coach the women's program here at Sierra College, and it's a fantastic matchup. And we don't have the ability, unfortunately, I think, to go all the way back here and see. But how often have we seen two undefeated teams getting ready to play, and two teams that have had this kind of season? Eerily similar in a lot of ways between Santa Barbara and Fresno, in that they've just been so very dominant.
Yeah, and in Santa Barbara, I wouldn't say a couple of their earlier results weren't like, hey, they're going to be up playing in the state championship, but they've kind of built themselves up over the season and gotten better and better. And same with Fresno, has kind of come out from the gates as being a clear favorite, I think.
Sykes, hard drive, keeps it alive. Rodriguez had it for a moment. It squirts back outside. Lopez wins it again. Fresno still working as Lopez works left of the box. Sykes chips it to the far post. The header back to the middle, but Garcia right there. Boy, that was well designed. That was
Yep.
nicely executed, and even better from Garcia. Aware of that play developing, and he's right there.
Yep, they got 3 players working together there. Got a ball at the back post. He tried to head it back across to the top of the 6 there.
Sent out of play. Well, Fresno City, again, talking a little bit about the women's matchup coming up. They've just been a juggernaut all season, and they were in a little danger. They fell down 1-0, but were able to scrap back and get a goal in the second half. And, for a team that's literally outscored their opponents 29 goals to 1, as is the ratio so far this season, it had to be a strange experience trailing in a game at all.
Yeah.
But give them a lot of credit. They came back in that semifinal and get themselves to the final, but can they complete the story?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. And Santa Barbara was down a goal against Folsom. Folsom was playing really well. And
also didn't happen very often this
season.
season.
Yeah, no, they were.
Yeah, that was a sensational victory with the game-winning goal coming in extra time in the second half. And Lopez slide tackle and a clean one from Felix, but Fresno keeps the ball here in the 88th minute. Well, Lopez got some elevation.
Yeah, look, it was a good advantage call though. It looked like he was okay. Didn't get hurt out of the situation.
So yeah, they're gonna wave off any foul there because to do so would penalize Fresno in that situation.
I kind of think Fresno would rather it be set down though, just kind of kill a bit of the clock though at this point.
Here is Lopez. Drives it left, tries to center, but it's way too strong. Well, I shouldn't say maybe he wasn't fully trying to center there. Might have just been trying to take a little time off by sending that all the way to the far side. We're in the 89th minute. And if you're Fresno City, I imagine you can smell it now. I mean, it's getting close, and it's got to be a good feeling out there for these young men who've had such a great season. Lopez going for the corner, and it's over the crossbar.
Yeah, Lopez in the back line, the big center back, he's done a good job of organizing the back line in the midfield here, especially when they went up 2 goals. He's really put a finger on people, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do and getting back behind the ball.
Yeah, just when you thought you had enough trouble with Rodriguez and Sykes, here comes Lopez, and he completes the triple there, I think, in the threat up front, and he's a lot to deal with as well. And that's been the nature of this season for Fresno City College. It's been a dominating performance from the outset, and just 1 loss on this season. And with this one, they're going to finish 18-1-6. And more importantly, they're going to finish as the 2017 3C2A men's soccer champions. We're in extra time with Fresno leading it 2-0.
This will be Fresno's first state championship on the men's side, right?
I believe that's true, and I believe the women will be pursuing their second. But the first since 1988. Yeah, so
1988. It's been a while, yeah.
But I imagine we've seen the occasional double. It's not unheard of, but Fresno City will also be trying to complete the double here in men's and women's soccer.
A couple years ago.
Well, yeah, with the Cerritos women having won the last 5, I believe that the Falcon men was that 2014. Maybe they won it, so that would have been your last double to do it. So it's not unheard of, but again, it would be hugely impressive, for the school if they could do that.
Especially for North. North seems to get a little bit less of the state championships. So.
Yeah, especially we've talked a little bit about that in soccer. This I believe would be just the 3rd men's championship for the North since 2002.
Yeah. Taft won it once, didn't they?
Yeah, in 2007. And then I believe Hartnell, I want to say in 2012 or thereabouts. But, it's really the elephants in the room up here in the Final Four in Cerritos and Mount San Antonio College, especially Mount San Antonio College. Obviously, such powerhouses. In men's soccer here in the 3C2A, and it does make it difficult, but this has been a big year for the North, a North-North championship matchup. The last time that happened was in 2007 when Taft won it.
Against Fresno as well, right? I believe they did.
You know what? I had that written down.
They did. It was Fresno Taft.
So that Fresno turning the table, that's got to feel good, I imagine, as well. It's got to be even a little bit sweeter when you can beat your rival, to take one down. A conference rival here as these two teams battled all season in the Central Valley. And we are in extra time, and awaiting the long whistle that will crown Fresno the 2017 men's soccer champions here in the 3C2A. Tor tries the one-timer, and it's over the crossbar.
Alvarez got pushed from behind a little bit. He's having a little conversation with the referee. I don't know if it's a good idea here in extra time. Lopez came over and talked to him, telling him to settle down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously at this point, it's not much to be gained. You're right where you want to be. Taft getting some other players out there as well, as Alonso Molina has checked in. This is Molina trying to center, but he whiffed on it.
Oof.
Meanwhile, Molina going hard with a tackle.
We do ask that all unauthorized people please stay off the field.
Alan Perez will handle the corner kick here in extra time.
Please stay off the field. There is another game coming.
This one's sent in on the near post, cleared away, but not out. Coronado tries to chip it back in. Recovered by Roland. Alonso tries to send it back in, and now it's cleared all the way out.
It's
Garcia.
a free kick for Taft.
Okay, Taft's going to have a free kick on the foul call. It will be Roland. That will take the kick, and Taft playing the latter stages of this one, a man down after a red card. But the effort, of course, never went away. As you would expect, looking for Tor on the far side, headed back into the box. Rams trying to clear, not all the way out.
He's got his whistle in his mouth.
And now they finally cleared all the way back down to Garcia.
That's going to be it, I think.
Looking at the watch. Garcia launches it back in.
Just not till the game's done. Like there's going to be an MVP.
Magana, one more chance, trying to center. Tor gets it back out in front. The shot on goal, and Castrajón able to get the stop. The Rams clearing it one more time. And how about Castrajón? A couple of big saves down the stretch here to preserve the shutout in this case. But the most important thing, the 2-0 victory. Fresno City College 2017 men's soccer champions here in the 3C2A. We're going to come back, cover the awards presentation. We'll name the MVP for you. We expect it to be Johnny Rodriguez. Big surprise it is. But we'll also give you a better look as they'll award the trophy here, the 3C2A state championship, to Fresno City College, the men's champions here. We'll step aside, rejoin you shortly on SoCalCollegeSports.com.
Fresno City, the 2017 men's soccer champions here in the 3C2A. Johnny Rodriguez, the MVP, with goals in both the semifinal and final. 2-0 the final score here, and Taft, obviously a lot of congratulations for a program that has really announced itself as one of the top programs here in men's soccer in the 3C2A. Their 4th appearance in the Final Four since 2012, but they come up a little bit short here. And for Fresno, what a great feeling it's got to be for that program. They made the final last year in 2016, got to the doorstep, couldn't complete the job, but this year they come back, they do, in dominating fashion all season long, and they win it here 2-0. Let's update you on what's going to happen here moving forward. We will have the women's game. That will be at 2 o'clock as scheduled right now. We'll have that game for you here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. There's a couple of ways that you can find that, either at our website, www.SoCalCollegeSports.com. You can also find it on YouTube by searching SoCal College Sports 1. That's our YouTube channel. That'll take you right to all of our archived videos as well as our upcoming events. It'll be right on top. And you can play, and of course you can find it through the 3C2A website, CCCAAsports.org. You go there, they will also have the players available for you. So one more game to go. It should be a great one. Women's Soccer Championship coming up at 2 o'clock, so we hope to see you then. Congratulations once again to Fresno City, the 2017 champions on the men's side here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Quick thank yous, of course, to Jason Gant, head coach of Sierra College, the women's program, for joining us. He'll be back for the women's championship as well. And we look forward to having him. Thanks to everybody here at SoCal College Sports, Jorge Zepeda, Mike Zepeda, Matt Henson, of course, and, of course, to so many others, and we'll get to more of that moving forward. Matt Folsom, David Silverstein, George Matagakis, Carlisle Carter at the 3C2A, Mike Robles, all here. And we, of course, really enjoy working with them on all the championship events, and that's been great, and they're so very helpful, and they go a long way toward making this event, not just for us, but the event overall, such a success. So our thanks. We will no doubt thank them again in our next game as well, and every time we work with them. Thanks so much to you for joining us as well. Once again, 2-0 the final. Fresno City, the men's champions, will come back at 2 o'clock for the women's championship. I'm Jeff Stoynoff. So long, everybody.